And the Control plus button will help you to zoom in, and the Control minus will help you to zoom out. Control 0 will bring down the entire image, and if you press the Alt button, you zoom in, and if you press the Alt button, you scroll it to zoom in, and you scroll back to zoom out. So we'll be working on the frequency separation. Like I said, the high frequency talks about the texture, and the low frequency talks about the color. So I'll turn off my high frequency layer and click on the low frequency layer to help me work on the image. I'll be making use of my mixer brush in this, and my white at 2, the load at 75, mix at 90, the flow at 100. Then I'll scroll more. The higher your weight, the more strength your brush will be having over your image. So I think 2 is cool for me, so that I'll be very careful and not to tamper with the colors that much. Now, in this part, I'll be really careful so as not to get a flat nose or mix this line off. If you check, turning this guy off, this is what we have before, and these are after. I'll not want to mess it up, so I'll just be careful and follow it exactly the same way I say it. Okay, now while working on this part, the body, I'll still respect the lightening, that is the highlights, and the shadows. The shadows are the darker area and the highlights are the lighter area. I won't just take my brush and start mixing. No, it's not possible. So I'll respect the lightening. I'll follow the trace on the body, like the shape of the body. I'll follow it. The size of my brush will be according to the parts which I'm working on. So I'll not just increase the size of my brush in the name of mixing, and at the end of the day I will end up getting a flat image, which will now result into me doing what, dodge and burn. So for me not to do that, I'll be very careful and take my brush around the image following the shape, and the size of the brush will depend on the area I'm working on. So let's continue. Okay, now we are done with the aspect of the frequency separation. So I would like to uncheck this layer and zoom in. So we'll see our before and after. Initially, this is what we had before, and this is what we had after. Before, after. If you notice, we only try to like blend her skin, but not like we are trying to change her from who she is to somebody else. So if I check this, there is a high frequency. I have the textures on the high frequency and the color on the low frequency. The color, that's the one I used my mixer brush on so as to blend the image. Meanwhile, the high frequency is to work on the texture. Maybe if I feel like I overworked on this picture and it's too smooth for my liking, I can't see enough details on my picture, which is the texture, I might duplicate this high frequency with my shortcut key Ctrl J. So pressing Ctrl J, if you notice, the textures popped out more. Let me turn this guy off. This is what we had before, and this is what we had after. This before and this after. Let me zoom back and see the details. We had this before and we have this after. But before I do that, let me delete it. I would like to work on the rashes. Maybe okay, I would like to work on the rashes using the clone stamp tool. The clone stamp tool, if I zoom in and I press the shortcut key for clone stamp tool is S, or you look for this symbol and click on it. If I press my Alt key, it will give me the opportunity to sample, and I'm sampling from current layer, not current and below. Make sure it's on current layer. The flow is at 100, opacity at 100, and my sample, the hardness shouldn't be 100, it should be at 0. Then I'll right click to, I'll press my Alt button to sample, left click to pick from that particular area, this area. Then I'll take off what I want to take away. I'll sample again to take off other parts. Right click, sample and clean. Okay. So using the align with will help me to like align somewhere close around the stuff I'm using. That is, if I click if the align box is being checked and I select from here and worked on here, if I go to this part, instead of taking from this previous part, no, it won't do that. Instead, it will be following me and like sampling from that same almost close range. Where if I uncheck this layer and I say align with I uncheck this align and press the Alt button to sample from here. If I use it here and I'm coming here, it will still maintain the same position. Even though I come to this part, it will still maintain the same position. That is, if you check, you see the plus sign is still there. So I'm using from one area, but no, it's sometimes I use it, but for the benefit of this image, no, I won't use that. So I'll press the align with sample from a close range, worked on a picture, on a texture, then I'll be using it all through that format. And if I feel it's not working well, I'll sample from another area also. So I guess I'm cool with this. Since I'm cool with this, I'll duplicate my high frequency to get more details using the Ctrl J button, Ctrl J. Now pressing Ctrl J, if you notice my image is having more details. It's having more details. Sometimes we are of this before and this after. So I think I'm cool with this, but if I feel it's too much, I might want to reduce the opacity of this duplicated high frequency. So around, let's say 80. 80 is cool for me. So I'm done with this part. Then the next thing I want to do is to work on the background. If you notice, the background is blue in color, so I'll create a stamp visible layer, which is Ctrl Shift Alt E. It will help me to merge my whole work, and I'll be able to use this one to select my background. I'll pick this tool, click on select subject. Mind you, I'm using this layer this time around, not the basic frequency separation. Yeah, it has selected my layer for me. And then I feel like this thing is not really doing well when it comes to this part. So how will I solve such kind of situation? And if you notice, there's some parts of the hair are not taken. So to solve that, I'll click on select and max. Now on the select and max, I'll be using this tool, this one. Click on the plus sign and just increase the size of my brush using the box bracket and select. I believe you can see what's happening. I'll click on that part, unwanted area, since it's just blue and around my image there's nothing like blue that I need, so I'll increase the size of my brush to occupy that blue and click on blue here. And if you notice, it affected my subject, so that is to say my brush is too big, and I'll reverse this, I'll undo it as Ctrl Z. That's too much. I'll reduce the size of my brush since I only want this part to disappear. Okay. If you notice, these two, which is the head, so did a beautiful job here, and I'd like to also use it around here. Yeah. And you can notice it helped me to recover some lost parts of the hair. Okay, actually what we are doing right now is me trying to take off the background layer, the areas that we are not selected initially before, and now I've been able to do all of that, and I've been able to add the areas that we are supposed to be part of our work and we are not. Okay, so now I want to shift the edge with -30 so as to get a sharp round curve instead of getting these soft edges. So I want to shift it in so that I won't be having any of the background being selected. Then I'll click on OK. Now we have this as our selected area. So what next will I do? I'll create a layer mask by clicking on this box. So let's see what we have now. Okay, this is what we have before and after. And to get a beautiful work, click on the layer behind, double click on this and sample a color close to your image, which is this, and click on OK. The next thing I want to do is click on my solid color, mix solid color, and I have something of this nature. I apply around my image. If I'm not cool with this, I'll cancel, come around again, click on this. Okay, I'll prefer the darker part of it, and then solid color. So I think I'm cool with this. This is superb. Now sometimes I might decide to like, okay, my work is done here, but no, I want to do a little bit of it more again on the background. So I'll click on my folder, my file manager. For you can go around your image and look for where you have stuffs like that you'll be using for the background, like images that you'll be using to beautify your background more. So for me, I guess on this image I'll pick this one. Really, let's try and see if it works for it. And I'll drag it to Photoshop. Increase the size by pressing the Alt key, select an angle, then drag. Okay, I'm cool with this. I'll press the enter button. And the next thing I want to do is select a soft light or overlay. Which one goes more better? Overlay, soft light. Get the soft light to school for me, then reduce the opacity. Okay. Yeah. So any format that is more convenient for you, click on the enter button, and I'm cool with this. And the next thing I want to create is a dark round edge. Double click on this to reset, black and white. Then click on this to get a new layer. Click on your gradient map. Click on your gradient map, you can right click and select this one. Okay, then press the shift button, click on the middle of your image, drag to get this black kind of vignette around your image, which is this. Then I'll convert it towards soft light, then I'll reduce the opacity, yeah, to an area that is more convenient for me. And I guess I'm cool with it. Then I'll save my work, Ctrl S. I'll save. I might want to go straight to Photoshop, but no, there's one more thing left for me to do, which is to work on the reds and the eyes and teeth.